Have you ever found yourself tearing up during a random 30-second commercial, while the person sitting next to you remains completely unmoved? Society is often quick to label those tears as weakness or a lack of resilience. We're taught to suppress it, hide it, and often find ourselves wondering, why am I like this? Why am I so sensitive? But what if I told you that neuroscience sees a completely different story? Those easy tears aren't a glitch in your system. They're actually a sign of a brain equipped with an empathetic superpower. Today, we're going deep into the inner world of those who cry easily. Here at Overthinking Psychology, we're uncovering why your sensitivity might just be your greatest gift. Imagine sitting in an important corporate meeting when suddenly a wave of intense frustration triggers unexpected, overwhelming tears. You try desperately to hold them back, but your body completely refuses to cooperate with your logical mind. This experience often leads to deep feelings of intense shame, embarrassment, and a distressing sense of personal vulnerability. People who cry easily frequently find themselves trapped in these uncomfortable situations during perfectly normal, everyday social interactions. They wonder why their emotional threshold is so much lower compared to their peers, coworkers, or family members. It feels like an uncontrollable physical reflex that constantly exposes their innermost feelings without their conscious permission or intent. This recurring pattern creates a psychological burden, forcing them to constantly anticipate and dread their next emotional response. They begin to view their everyday environments as potential minefields, where any sudden emotional trigger could compromise their professional image. This hypervigilance keeps their nervous system in a state of constant, low-level arousal, making crying even more likely to occur. The simple act of watching a movie or listening to a moving story can unleash an immediate physical reaction. You might find yourself weeping at a beautifully written paragraph or an exceptionally poignant piece of instrumental music. This immediate connection to art and human narrative showcases a deeply receptive psyche that few individuals ever achieve. You may find yourself crying from extreme anger because your emotional system simply overflows with intense physiological energy. This intersection of anger and tears causes immense confusion for onlookers who mistake your genuine fury for weakness. Consequently, you feel deeply misunderstood and invalidated by a society that prefers neat, predictable, and simple emotional boxes. The problem deepens when society systematically misinterprets these tears as manipulative behavior or a total lack of resilience. Friends might tell you to grow a thicker skin, while managers might question your overall leadership potential. This constant negative feedback loop causes highly sensitive individuals to isolate themselves and suppress their authentic emotional reactions. However, suppressing these natural tears actually increases psychological distress, elevating cortisol levels and inducing severe physiological anxiety. The internal conflict escalates as you begin to view your own deeply empathetic nature as a major flaw. Clinical psychologists note that chronic emotional suppression can eventually manifest as physical fatigue, insomnia, or persistent depressive states. You become trapped in a vicious cycle of feeling emotional, crying, feeling ashamed, and then crying even more. The continuous struggle to maintain a perfectly stoic exterior creates an exhausting state of permanent psychological burnout and exhaustion. Your interpersonal relationships may suffer, as loved ones struggle to understand the sheer depth of your intense emotional expressions. They might walk on eggshells around you, which inadvertently deepens the painful, invisible wall of separation between you. This isolation reinforces the false belief that something is fundamentally broken or deeply dysfunctional within your emotional operating system. The weight of this self-judgment can completely overshadow the magnificent gifts that accompany such a deeply feeling heart. This persistent internal criticism erodes self-esteem, making you feel completely disconnected from your own inner strength and resilience. You begin to dread public speaking or simple confrontations out of pure fear that tears will ruin everything. Over time, this constant self-doubt alters how you approach career growth, social gatherings, and intimate personal relationships. You may actively turn down high-profile opportunities because you fear losing control of your emotions under heavy pressure. The psychological cage grows smaller every single day as you try to minimize any potential risk of crying. Now, let us shift our scientific lens and look at what is actually happening inside your highly active brain. Neurological studies show that frequent criers often possess an exceptionally high count of active, highly responsive mirror neurons. This means you possess a highly advanced capacity for deep empathy, allowing you to absorb ambient emotional energy. Your brain processes emotional stimuli with incredible depth, transforming external experiences into profound, deeply felt internal bodily sensations. Furthermore, crying is actually a highly efficient physiological mechanism designed to rapidly release excess stress hormones like cortisol. When you cry, your body releases oxytocin and endorphins, which naturally soothe pain and promote a profound sense of calm. Therefore, your tears are not a definitive sign of weakness, but rather a brilliant, built-in, emotional detoxification system. You are actually processing and releasing trauma in real time, while others may store that exact same tension internally. This high emotional sensitivity is closely linked to advanced creative thinking, deep artistic appreciation, and profound intuitive insights. When you understand the pure neurobiology of crying, the heavy burden of social shame begins to evaporate completely. Your hyperreactive nervous system is actually a highly sophisticated evolutionary trait designed to help protect human, tribal communities. Highly sensitive individuals historically served as intuitive guides, deeply attuned to subtle changes within their natural environments. Neurologists have discovered that highly sensitive people have a much more reactive amygdala compared to the average population. This heightened amygdala activity means your brain treats emotional data with an elevated level of absolute existential importance. This is not a structural defect. It is an incredible biological gift of heightened sensory and emotional awareness. Embracing this new scientific perspective allows you to transform your perceived vulnerability into a profound psychological asset. True emotional resilience is not about feeling absolutely nothing, but about processing your deep emotions cleanly and moving forward. The next time you feel tears welling up, recognize it as your body beautifully balancing its delicate nervous system. Honor your deep sensitivity, because a world that feels deeply is ultimately a much more compassionate, connected place. Your capacity to cry easily means you possess a beautiful heart, capable of experiencing the full spectrum of life. Stop apologizing for your tears, because they are the authentic, physical proof of your beautiful and courageous humanity. You are not overly sensitive. You are simply profoundly alive and attuned to the deeper rhythms of our world. Wear your sensitivity proudly, knowing that your tears cleanse your soul and give profound voice to your unspoken truth. Your ability to shed tears seamlessly represents a magnificent biological design, focused entirely on maintaining pure internal harmony. Embrace your tears as an elegant sign of ultimate strength, profound empathy, and beautiful psychological authenticity today. Your tears serve as a beautifully authentic signal that you care deeply about the world around you, always. Never let an unfeeling world convince you that your profound emotional depth is something you must actively fix. Trust your biology, celebrate your profound empathy, and let your beautiful tears flow without a single shred of shame. At the end of the day, remember that your tears are not a burden. They are the language of your soul. Have you ever reached a point where you felt grateful for being a sensitive person? I'd love to hear your story in the comments below. Let's create a space where none of us feel alone in this journey of deep empathy. If this video resonated with you, please give it a like and subscribe to Overthinking Psychology so we can continue exploring the mysteries of the mind together. Thank you for watching, and remember to be proud of your beautiful deep heart. I'll see you in the next one.